Hi, everybody. It's Kim Hughes, and today we have Phil Martin of the Martin Home Team in the Dallas, Texas market area. And I'm going to let him kind of share with you the markets that he works in because, as we all know, North Texas is pretty big. And we want to make sure that he talks about all the communities that he's involved in. So, today we are going to talk about how you can take your business to a new level with basic principles, with a good mission statement and values, and being consistent, creating funnels, and how that all works after you're doing all your prospecting. Welcome to the Unstoppable Real Estate Agents Podcast. I'm your host and real estate productivity expert, Kim Hughes. Join me as we focus on real strategies and implement real solutions designed for you to achieve major success in your business and life while getting you organized. So Phil has been with us. Oh gosh, you've been a client for many, many years. He helped
Long time.
my oldest son helped my oldest son and his wife buy their first home, and then helped them buy their second home. So some of the things that Phil is going to share with us today is pretty cool stuff. So I'm going to recommend you get your pencil, your notepad, and take notes, even though you can print out the show notes. But he's going to give you some great nuggets as we go through this. And we also have Amy on the podcast today because she works directly with Phil in his business. So between the three of us, I think that this is going to be a great podcast to help agents kind of rethink about their business and how they are working in their business with their clients. So Phil, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and the market you work in, and then let's just dive in.
All right. Well, I appreciate it, Kim. Thanks for having me on today. And Amy, yes, we've been working together for a very long time. Back in 2006, left the corporate world. I'd done that for a number of decades and got into residential lending, which is my first exposure to realtors and real estate per se. And did that for a number of years and finally went back office with a real estate brokerage who was new to town and helping them to build a franchise and really got to understand it. And then it dawned on me I could do this myself. Even I could have a brokerage without being the broker, and didn't need an office, didn't need a W-2 employee. And after studying several agents who were wildly successful, I thought,
Mhm.
hmm, I wish I would have done this in my mid 20s.
Yeah.
After coming out of the military. But so I dove in head first. Um, you know, and at first I didn't have, it was just me. And then eventually I ran across you actually way back then even and said, hey, I need a, I hired a coach immediately because I've always believed in if you want to go to the next level, you need to be with next level people and get that
Mhm.
accountability. So he's like, you need a transaction coordinator. I'm like, what's that? So Kim Hughes said, "Hey, I can do that." So we went through a number of iterations there, and I'm still using your my listing manager, Amy,
Yeah,
is with me today. She does a phenomenal job, and
she does.
so back in 2011, 12, 13, had to really focus on leveraging technology because it was just me. So I had assistants, I
Mhm.
had me. I From the get go, I started using uh, WebEx and GoToMeeting and BombBomb. I think when they were very
Yeah.
first, I was one of their very
Mm.
first clients. I'm like, video, that's me, right? Um, because my coach said, hey, you need to be on video. Okay, whatever he said, I did. Um, and his name was Mark Martin, no
Oh,
relation.
yeah. Yes. Oh my gosh, a name from the past.
Right? And he's gone on to do incredible things outside
Yeah.
of real estate. Just
Yeah.
one of my heroes. He actually let me drive
Mhm.
his race
Mhm.
car out at, anyway, that's a whole other story.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and just started having that coach with him under Dirk Zeller. Then I coached with John Cheplack,
Yeah.
coached with a number of different people. Um, and now, well, I, I, I left my entity brokerage in April of last year and joined EXP
Mhm.
simply because I in a frontline partner sponsorship with a gentleman named Michael Reese, who was actually blowing it up back when I was in lending over in Frisco. And
Yeah.
so he said, "Yeah, I'll be your personal sponsor, and I'll you can have my ear, and you can have anything I have. You can have." I was like, hmm, "Okay, I'll take it."
There you
And
go.
so here we go. When I first started out, I would go anywhere and see anybody who could fog a mirror if they wanted to buy or sell a house. Um, and that really also drove me to immediately start tracking my time. I tracked everything in dollars per hour. I got it down to I should not ever spend more than 22 hours with a buyer. I should never spend more than 13 actual hours with a seller. Um, those are my initial numbers. And I got down to how many calls I'm going to make before I do this, before I do that. And just started developing systems because from my corporate experience and the military experience, you had to have SOPs. What's the
Mhm.
checklist? And so I know when Amy first came on board, I'm like, here's my checklist. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, you got a checklist. I said,
Oh
yeah, I have a
boy.
checklist. Everybody
We
gets a
were
checklist,
quite
right?
impressed.
And so I've got a whole manual of SOPs now. So if you happen to, I got a couple of agents on the team here, but it's just important
Yeah.
um, because if you can't measure it, what's the use? You really you have to keep
Right.
score on something. Um, and setting goals is one thing, but it's really what is the action? His core values kept me going. From number one, you have to have a coach. Number two, you have to track the basics. And I started out with, you ever played, counted in cards or dominoes where you make the little slash marks, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then
Mhm.
5, right? That was
Mhm.
my initial counting system. It wasn't fancy. I'm just like a piece of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'd make the
Yep.
big X. 5, 1, 2, or and then do the little X's around it, just like in dominoes when I used to play with my mom when I was little, right? The
Mhm.
domino scorecard method, and just began to. You ever been in a restaurant, the old restaurants where you have the little menus that flip in the books
Oh, yeah.
and
Yes,
they're mounted
yes.
on the wall? Actually,
Right.
I bought one
Right.
of those for my desk, and it was my face, and I had it tabbed, and those were my scripts.
Oh, there
And
you
I
go.
I only used that for about 2 weeks, and by then I didn't need that little book, right?
Right.
But people would come in and go, "Dude, you," and I had a stand-up desk. I didn't sit down, and I just hit the phones, right? Grinding, because that's what you had to
Mhm.
do. Um,
Well, right
my mission
there,
was
I
real
want
simple.
agent
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I just want to say you just gave out two great nuggets. When you first started, not everybody can just walk right in and have clients. So you've got to have those scripts and having that little book, like you said, what a great little nugget. Even though we're in the world of technology, sometimes the simple things is what can help you get to that next level. And then, so just right there was a nugget. So I hope somebody wrote that down.
I can tell
Okay.
you for a fact, technology is useless if you're automating things that you know nothing about, that you
Right.
can't already right off the top of your head say, right? People today, I do a
Mm-hmm.
lot of video today, which we may talk about later, but people say, why are you so
Yeah.
good on video? It's because I'm only saying the things that I have just said to my clients 1,000 times over the past
Right.
decade, because I
Right.
believe them. This is what
Yeah.
I believe in the way I do business. And I call them little vignettes, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I first started too, the other thing that in the first year, I think I made $67,000. I kept what you make and what you keep are way two different things, right? But I made
Right.
$67,000 in my very first year. And I thought, well, okay, my second year, more than doubled that, well more than doubled that. And then every year after that, I doubled that upon that. And I
Mhm.
was like, well, okay, this is working. And I began to automate what I was doing. But that first year, I was going south of Burleson for an
Yeah.
$85,000 shack that this young couple wanted to buy, and they were first time, and I was all, I'm going to help you, It was termite ridden, so we couldn't buy it, but I was
Yeah.
out there, and people going, why are you driving over there? Hey, production's production. I need to eat. I need to pay a bill.
Yep.
I'm going, right? But I came up with a mission statement right away because I also know just from years of being in the corporate world and helping to develop cultures, seeing cultures. and with teams. Um, and for me personally, so I came up with a mission statement. I never really published it. It was just mine, right? So, our mission is to help families, people and families to protect and preserve their real estate assets and way of life. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, it started out like this, is to be grateful that I can help families to protect and preserve their real estate assets and way of life. And I connected that way of life because that's what I would talk about. Everybody want to talk about real estate. And I thought, well, the real estate you own will dictate your way of life. If you get that wrong, your way
Right.
of life is going to suffer,
That's
right?
right. Yeah.
And so just from the beginning, that's what I would ask questions about. And I came up,
Mm-hmm.
I would always tell people, you don't need, do you need why do you need new bedrooms and bathrooms? It's a pattern interrupt. Because I've been through a lot of sales training and business development in the corporate world. So pattern interrupt was something I knew was important. And so I came up with little things to say to people to go, what? I'd say, well, why do you need new bedrooms and bathrooms? And they'd go, what? I'd say, well, you've got bedrooms and bathrooms, right? And they'll go, yeah. I say, you're not homeless. You don't live under a bridge. Yeah. Well, you've got bedrooms and bathrooms. Why do you need new bedrooms and bathrooms?
Right.
And
Yeah.
it really got people out of this mode of I'm looking for a house to I'm looking for a, a lifestyle and a way of life, because the house is your first
Mm-hmm.
layer. How's it positioned on the lot? What does the lot look like? What street is it on? What does the street look like? What neighborhood is it in? What does that HOA look like? What city is it in? What's the proximity of that to where you go every day? Do you have any faith-based activities you want to be close to, entertainment activities? How often do you need to
Mm-hmm.
go to work? How far do you need to go to work? Are you really willing to sacrifice that? Because it's not just a house.
Right.
The old adage of, oh, how much you pay for your house will affect how much you can save for vacation, for college, for whatever,
Mm-hmm.
retirement. And it's true. People ask me, I don't want to overpay for a house. Well, I don't want you to overpay for a house either. But if you want a house, you're going to have to pay a premium in some of the markets
Right.
we've been through. The difference is when you roll
True.
up to that house in 6 months and you see your family and kids playing and having a good time, are you still going to be all looking like you were weaned on a sour pickle and a bottle of vinegar? Repeat for me here, Well, then you overpaid for it. And you need to go explain to your family why you're still grumpy. But if you
Yeah.
roll up and say, man, I'm glad we got this house, then you paid a premium.
Mm-hmm.
It's all
When
in
we
how you
bought our
look at it. I
first
mean, some people are
home,
willing to sacrifice their family's happiness and way of life for, $55 a month. And
right.
and and so I would point those things out to people. Actually, I would ask permission. If I see something that would, in my perception, go against what you're trying to achieve here, can I just bring it up to you? And most people would say, well, sure. And once you have
Mhm.
permission, I can say anything I want as long as I say, I'm just saying afterwards, right? You know, you know, it's like,
Just
hey, you've been
saying.
sandbagging me. Where'd you come up with that money? That's not, you're way out of your zone.
Yeah.
You didn't trust me, did you, on the first call? And they go, no.
Yep.
Oh, so you got more money. Just tell me before we go any further, because I'm not going to participate in you screwing up your life
Right. Well,
or
when
be
we bought our
perceived as
first
being.
home, we sat down with the lender and he, talked to us about how much we can spend, what kind of price we looked at and what we were
Right.
qualified for. And we left that meeting and my husband and I talked about it. And I said, well, just because we qualify for, say, back in, say we qualified for 500,000, do we really want to spend it? And
Right.
the agent that was working with us, he kept wanting to show us $500,000 homes. And we were like, but no, we only want to look at $100,000 homes because we don't want to be married to the mortgage. And he really struggled with that. And we looked, I think, at 58 homes because he kept showing us homes that we did not want to put the money into. And so once we all got on the same page, we found a house. But that was the mentality we looked at was just because we qualify doesn't mean we should spend it. It's like I have a
Right.
credit card with a $50,000 limit. I'm not going to go spend $50,000 just because I can, you know. So I
Yeah.
think that when I think that, and I'm going to bring my kid in this for just a minute, but when you sat down with Philip, as we were talking earlier, and them being first time home buyers, and you gave them all kinds of education tools to look at before y'all even started looking, that was, to me, I was so impressed when they were like, "Yeah, we have to watch these videos." It's like we're in school. And I said, "Good, you'll learn how to buy a
Right.
house." No. So I think, would you share a little bit about that? Like how, first, let's talk about your prospecting and then talk about that first, when you get that buyer or that seller, what's that education that you put them through so that they can come to the table with you when they get ready to buy that home and you're taking them out and driving them around?
Right. Well, in terms of prospecting, you mentioned mindset. I mean, I should be taking little notes so I don't wander too far off the reservation to answer your question. Because as you can tell, I can.
Well, I
Never,
can't tell
never
you.
wonderful.
Yeah. In terms of just mindset, um, serving families with a grateful heart to protect and preserve your real estate assets and way of life was one way for me to stop focusing on being fearful, on being all the other full things and being grateful,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
you can't be doing two fulls at once. You can't be
Right.
fearful and grateful at the same time. But and it was a chore. I can't be resentful because they just screwed me on a deal, right? Or somebody walked away from it, or they lied to me. There's no such thing as a bad client. And here's the truth of it. Um, it's a mindset. There's no such thing as a bad client. There's just someone who's not that good at sales. They haven't mastered their
Mhm.
craft. Because if somebody's going to do you that way, if you're good at what you do, you can probably see that and avoid it. And you can put things in a conversation up front. And that's, as you begin to master your craft and what you're doing, your mindset is such that I want to attract the people I want to attract. But I'm not pursuing people, right?
Mhm.
And I'm not every single day I can pick up the phone and make 50, 100, 200 calls. If nobody talks to me, the mindset is, oh, what a successful day.
Mhm.
Because I did the one thing I had control over,
Mhm.
my ability to pick up the phone. And here's the way to be always successful in sales. And I told I brought some agents on last year, and part of the recruiting process, I'm going to teach you how to never fail on any day ever doing phone work. You'll never be a failure, ever feel like a failure. And that is, just know that you're not here to sell a home. People get discouraged because
Uh-huh.
no one's selling, no one's buying. They won't buy what I'm selling. Yeah, I quit it. Right? The mindset.
Mhm.
Everybody has access to this thing. They really don't
Yeah.
need you to tell them how many bedrooms and bathrooms are for sale and what the price is and the square foot. They can look it up in the comfort of
Mhm.
their home, whatever. If you're not adding more, you're not adding much at all. They just need
Right.
somebody to open a door. And so the mindset is, look, my scripts are, I call them conversational template. It's really um, what do I call it? A conversation template, Um,
Mhm.
and because you can't offer to do something for somebody until you know that they have an issue or a problem that what you're going to offer will solve or be helpful for. And a lot of
Right.
people take the mindset of, well, they signed up. Yeah, because they were surfing on Facebook on their break at work, an ad popped up with a beautiful house, so they clicked it and they went, ooh. And they're looking, oh,
Mhm.
look at that master bathroom. Next thing, here you are. Hey, let me take you out. Are you looking for a $500,000, $600,000? And they're like, oh, stop. Right?
Right.
Because you assumed you had to sell them something. And if you approach the prospecting that way, you're going to feel like a failure every day, every single day,
Mhm.
right? So what I do and what we teach is, look, we're having a conversation. We have to first of all connect with people, which is really easy to do. It's just simply get them to talk about themselves and then lead them through a very structured conversation, but it's only structured on our end, and it doesn't feel structured to the client. And we have to talk. Here's where I don't want to overcomplicate this. We look at two different avatars, right? Because people who are coming into your funnel at the very top 1% might be ready now,
Right.
maybe, because we're advertising with interruption marketing. I'm on the internet. Bam, bam. Here's an ad. Here's this, and oh, you know, they're
Mhm.
not with intent. Very few people with intent are coming and filling out your form. I need to buy a house
Right.
today, so I'm going to fill out Phil's form. Very, very rare. Not
Right.
so much anymore with what I'm doing, but that's another story. And so The idea is people at the top, all we need to do is get them to have a conversation where we're asking the things like, well, what's got you looking? It's that simple. Most people
Right.
will answer that question, even the most short and gruff person on the phone. When you say, well, gosh, yeah, I see you signed up for looking at $600,000 homes in Frisco. Yeah, yeah. But, yeah, well, tell me, what's got you looking?
Hmm.
And then we get into the
Right.
tone of voice because I'm becoming curious and I'm just
Hmm.
asking questions. And so we want to know, why are you looking? Well, okay, if that's why you're looking, why is that bad for you? Now
Mm.
I can see why you would need new bedrooms and bathrooms because you're really looking for something below that. You're looking for the value, not the
Hmm.
benefit, but the value. Value is above benefit. And it always has to do with school for my children. I'm concerned, this for my wife, or, we need to get out of this neighborhood. So it's a safety issue. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Hmm.
Oh, I can see how you'd be serious about that, and then take it away, right? I don't know. That's a problem, but does he want to solve it today with me? I don't know yet.
Yeah.
So the conversation is, my avatar is this person who's dreaming about something because there's some pain in their life. They're not a buyer.
Hmm.
They're not a seller. I have to find these things first. And then once we do, well, I can see why you would, well, in a perfect world, what, what neighborhood are you consider, if you could, I know you're not looking now, pushback, where, and you're probably in the fuzzy front end of due diligence right now. And everybody goes, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm just let them off the hook. Right.
Hmm.
Now they open up some more because I met them on the internet. There's no trust on the internet.
Right.
My first conversation, the only thing I want them to do is I want to see if they need help getting clarity with all the moving parts to see if they even want to do this, is the vast
Hmm.
majority of people. Is it even possible for them in today's market reality? I don't, and people say, well, I'll say, I don't know. I have no idea if I can help you buy a home. It seems to me like you're not even in the buy mode. You're just trying to figure out all these interest rates and pricing. And it's kind of confusing. I don't know. What do you say? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, yeah, that's not a problem.
Right.
Obviously I can't help you buy anything right now. I don't even know if you can, frankly. I don't know if there
Right.
possibilities exist, but what we could do, if you think it would be helpful or appropriate, maybe in the next week or two, because you're on the front end, right? We have a conversation. There's no cost, no obligation. And we maybe take 30, 45 minutes. It really depends on how many questions you ask, but we're going to identify your financial comfort zone for mortgage payment. And then we're going to do the math and back into a range of purchase prices, right? Because we always want to keep you well within the safety zone of that comfort zone on the monthly mortgage payment.
Mhm.
And then we'll sample and audit a couple of homes here in areas that you might be interested in to see if it's even possible to get a home in that price range that would fit your needs. But most importantly, is in your financial comfort zone. And then from there, if we do business together, I have no idea. I don't know. But
Mhm.
would that sort of information give you some clarity to just help you, I don't know, have better discussions at night with your wife or with your husband? And they go, well, who's going to say no?
Right.
No, I don't want clarity because I established that they're confused by all the information. I'll ask
Right.
them where they getting information. I'm just asking questions. So if you had the
Mhm.
information, would that help you on the safety piece? How alarmed are you on the safety piece on the apartment? Is there anything you like? And it's funny. I'll say, well, is there anything you do like about the apartment? And they will always tell me something they like about the apartment. It's bizarre.
Yeah. It's
And I'll say,
crazy.
well, how did you get in that apartment situation in the first place instead of buying a home? I'm going to see, did they do something they regret? Great, because I'm going to help them not do that again.
Mhm. Yeah.
But as soon as people say, you know what, I would like a little more clarity on all this crap without the obligation or somebody pushing on me, I'll say, you know what, I don't have time this week. But maybe since you're kind of on the front end, and I'm taking them from the top of the funnel and I'm going to get them into the middle of the funnel where I can spend time with them. Here's a key principle in my business: show people what it's like to do business with you before they do business with you. That's
Mm.
why I spend routinely an hour. an hour and a half with people on these conversations via Zoom, right?
Right.
And it's all automated. And at the end of it, I'll say, and throughout it, I'll say, is this, eh, let's just stop here. Before we go any further, is this worth going on with? I mean, is this what you expected? Is this valuable? No, 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 no. People gush, right? And that's why
Yeah.
people who go through that, if they eventually buy a house, 95%, and I got the numbers, will come back to me and buy a house because they'll
Mm-hmm.
say, and especially first time home buyers, because they'll say, nobody's ever spent the time to tell me what this is like. Because frankly, first time home buyers get quite abused by a lot of different people in the process who, frankly, if it's not a little softball and they got to do some work to make it happen, they'll
Mm-hmm.
either they can't make it happen or they walk away because there's something easier that comes up and quicker.
Right.
Mm, right? So
Mm-hmm.
get them into the middle of the funnel, give them value. The videos on what is the anatomy of a mortgage payment is one name, right? And it goes on.
Yeah.
It's about 2 minutes. I made these things in 2011 and 12, and I had somebody else redub them because I had the original scripts here recently, so it's a woman's voice instead of me. And then there's what's an escrow and why do I need one? Buying a home, part one of two. What's an option? Buying a home,
Mm-hmm.
part two of two. Closing, the appraisal and closing and living in my home. And then afterwards, we have a whole program to keep up with them because still 60% of our business is referrals from past clients.
Mm-hmm. Isn't
It
that
always
great?
is. It's a beautiful thing. But
Mm-hmm.
we get them into that middle, and this is something I really realized over the past couple of years. People spend so much time at the top of funnel, and if it doesn't work out, they jettison people. They say, "Oh, I'm a big believer in CRMs too, right?" Um, but just in the past couple of years, I've really started focusing on and really talking to the middle, and
Mm-hmm.
not saying a lot, but trying to say something that's impactful, because it's those people in the middle. You got 400 or 500 people in the middle every year. You're going to get 50 deals out of that if you're because people in the top aren't ready. People in the middle have a much shorter distance to go to get to the bottom of the funnel, much shorter
Right.
distance. And they're running into agents every single day. They got a brother one, a cousin that's one, an uncle that's one. And if you're not creating that relationship, and so spending that time, I never meet with buyers. I do a Zoom call. I've done
Yeah.
that for over
Yeah.
10 years. People go, you got to get in front of them. No, that's listings. That's different. But buyers,
Yeah.
because I'll say, look, and when we're done with that map to market conversation, they understand now what the process is at a level where they can participate, because that's the goal, right? Because they decide, we lead, and we'll say, now you can see that the value of all of this. Here's why every agent ever had, plus me, it's I think it's 1.8, I believe, is the median number of offers across 10 years we've had to write before our buyers get a contract.
Mm.
We don't have
Okay.
people with 10, 12 offers. I hear those
Right.
stories and I'm like, please come talk to me. It's just not necessary
Right.
because in a very competitive market, you can quickly show a first time home buyer, look, if you're not willing to be competitive or you don't have the money to be competitive, you can't shop for that house unless you just want to. I can send you a hammer. You can smack your thumb all day. It'll be the same thing, but I can't go with you to do that.
Yeah.
I just did a CMA. Look, in the last 6 months, every winner in this neighborhood paid 103.6% of
Mm-hmm.
list. And you want to come in here and do 95? No, I can't. Maybe we're not right for each other, is what I'll say.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to give you the illusion that you're going to be successful approaching the market like this.
Right.
Because, and I'll look and I'll say things like, I don't have to go home with your wife at night, but you do. And I'm going to save you the
Mm-hmm.
misery of 10 no's in your face because you're just not being realistic.
Yeah.
And she'll look at him and I'll say, look, I'm just saying,
Just saying.
right?
Just saying.
I'm just saying. But if we look at these houses, your odds, if you only want to go at 100% when there's not 22 offers on the table,
Mm-hmm.
or we need to go to new construction because that's a whole different construct. And there I can isolate the house for 2 or 3 days while you make up your mind. I can do that for you. That's a whole nother.
Mhm.
New construction has turned out to be my main bailiwick, right?
Right.
So it's just a matter of getting that approach. I'm not solving a problem until I know, because once I know, my main offer to a prospect is, look, seems to me like you're already kind of checking it out. You're the kind of person that is going to, I don't know, do some planning and preparation, do your due diligence when you're buying a,
Mm.
I don't know, $600,000 home. You're not just going to shoot from the hip last minute, right?
Right.
And they go, right. I said, well, so what are the things that you're really struggling with now that don't make sense to you or are frustrating you in this market? Okay, I can't help you buy because I don't even know if you can. Like, you haven't been to a lender yet. But what I could do, you know, and people ask me why you do that. Well, it's real simple. Why do I want to step in when they've already figured everything out, and it's usually done in a poor manner because they don't have all the facts I do. They're not an expert advisor like I am, and then step in
Mm.
and try to do what they want when what they want wasn't based on sound planning because they didn't have anybody in the know really helping them. Now, some people
Right.
can do that. Don't get me wrong, but it's not the majority, right?
Mhm.
I believe wholeheartedly. We need to be early on in the process. Say, well, I'm not ready to buy. Well, you think I can come in and make you buy a $500,000 home and by twisting your arm now? Who
Mhm.
thinks that? Well,
Right.
prospects think agents think that because obviously, if people and you've come across that attitude before, right? Oh, I don't. I no no. I don't. I want to be pushed.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's what's happening in the market if that's what they're saying.
Right.
So we just can't do that. I'm look. I'm
Mhm.
just offering you a consultation with perspectives and insights. And look, and I promise you they'll be valuable. I promise you it will be valuable, and I will figure out. And I've never had a conversation with somebody who I couldn't ask a question where they go. And here's where you know you're getting making traction. They go, hmm. Because if they are in their mind saying, "Gosh, he makes a good point. Maybe I
Mhm.
should," and they begin convincing themselves, that's where you know you have a loyal client because you have helped them. What's better if somebody comes to it on their own conclusion or you make them do it?
Right.
Everybody knows the answer to that one, right? And so that's the approach we try to take, but it takes a lot of discipline because, and if you don't do it consistently, and your income's doing this, right? And you get antsy with people, and you get into the push mode versus the let them come to you mode because you're saying
Mhm.
things that are interesting, that are valuable. It's a different deal.
Right.
Intention based marketing, intention based conversations is what we may call this, because I want to say things, present ideas, ask questions that make them, if I go like this, I want them to go like this,
Mhm.
right?
Oh, yeah.
And that's
These
when we
are
know we have given value. And,
yes.
but
Yes.
if you're the one going forward and they're the ones going backwards, what takes more energy to pursue or attract?
That's right.
You just need to have the training, and there's not a script, there's a pattern. It's a conversational pattern. That's what it is. And so we
Yeah.
use flashcards. And what you're doing is you're people say, well, what should I say next? And I'll say, I don't know, what did they say? If you're at a dinner party and the person next to you says blah blah blah, do you turn to your spouse and say, oh, they just said this, what do I say now?
Oh, yeah.
Well, if that's what you're doing, you're not having a conversation.
Mm-mm. No.
And so that's the first place where if you're getting leads and it's not working out, that's probably why, because you've been taught an old school way of push, 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 just get them out there, just get in front of them, just show them the home. We are
Mhm.
way past that in the internet based world.
Right.
It's not a trust based world at all. And the
Mm-mm.
number one thing NAR always says, and umpteen years now in all their surveys, what's the number one thing that consumers say they want from an agent? Trust. That's the number one
I was
thing they're
gonna say
looking for.
honesty, same thing. So,
Trust.
yeah.
Yeah. Trust,
Yeah.
trust, 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 trust.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's
Well,
kind of a philosophy and a little bit of process all rolled into one. I
yeah,
don't know
no,
if
it was
that's what you were
great.
looking for.
I hope that agents really go back and listen to this because you were dropping so many nuggets. I was trying to write them down, but you do, you're dropping nuggets all over the place. So let's talk a little bit about these funnels. The word funnel is a big buzzword right now, which I always look at, if drip campaigns, it's how you stay in touch with your audience. So can you share with us a little bit about how you structured your funnel and what made you decide to go a certain way with a funnel?
Sure. Um,
Basically, like either buyer or
this
seller,
is
it doesn't matter.
yeah. Let me props here to Michael Reese and Woods
Hmm.
Davis. Right.
Yep.
They call it the whisker and the cheese, right? Um, if a mouse is going for the cheese and if the mouse sees whiskers, the mouse is going to run away because
Ah,
whiskers lead to teeth, right?
that's right.
So if we're going to attract people to us, we got to show them the cheese and then let them kind of get used to the whiskers out there. If they really want
Hmm.
something, it'll be right. And so give value and give value and give value. I've always said I'll tell agents whatever I know. I don't care. And I have,
Hmm.
because all the guys that I've learned from freely gave me everything I use. That ultimate marketing 40-page book that was given to me. I said, can I snitch this? Sure. Redid it, sent it to the printer. Here we go. I like what you got. I just changed the verbiage, right? Um, because I know that very few people will actually take action.
Right. So do
But
you
if
take
you,
your funnels and do you, once they go through the entire funnel, what happens if they've gone through the
here's an
entire
example.
funnel,
Yeah,
haven't reached out?
here's an example of a funnel. For example, I sent out. I have a little Facebook ad that runs going new construction information on new construction deals, free information on new construction. So as soon as they click on that, I send them um, a pre-made search which shows them all the new construction in Collin County. Here you go.
That's great.
That's all.
Yep.
That's all I send them. And then the next day, I'll say, "Hey, would you like a cheat sheet on where all the best deals are?" As a matter of fact, I'm just going to
Mhm.
give it to you. It's right here. Let me know if we could possibly be helpful. I'm not just jumping on, right?
Mhm.
Now, in the funnels, if somebody fills out their form when they want the first bit of information, they'll say, do you want to go now, 3 to 6 months, 6 to 12 months? Unsure.
Right.
Finally, do you have a house to sell? Yes, no, unsure, or maybe, right? So every time somebody registers to get that all the new construction in Collin County, I get those answers. Now, if they say now, the next thing they get is in a much quicker, because I'm talking to them now. I mean, a study came out recently. Millennials know if you've got the old drip campaign talking in the wrong tense for next year or whatever. They know if you're really not talking to them. They know,
Right.
right? So I was showing Amy this the other day on my flows and automation. If you say now, we say a certain thing to you, but we at a much quicker cadence. I'm jumping right in with a video of me talking to him. Go, look, you need to go now. So it seems to me if you've been preparing for this for months, we can deliver with great efficiency. If you haven't been prepared, you really need to talk to us so we can have a strategy session. We'll condense what we do. We have a proven process. It's repeatable. It's proven by research over 10 years. Um, not sure if we can help you, but if we have that conversation, back to
Mhm.
that, I want that appointment, right? And if I
Right.
don't hear anything from them, we just keep going. Hey, here's a thing that's happening right now, but I don't give them all the information. Or here's a white paper on the 7 most costly mistakes buyers make. They don't have to
Mhm.
register anymore, right? But I know when they took it. Here's another white paper on the 4 critical mistakes that you want to avoid when you're choosing a builder. We
Mhm.
come right back in and we're making phone calls now into that now, right?
Right.
Did you know that 67, 73% of agents or people pick the first agent they came across? blah, 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 right? Um, and here's, and I have a lot of reviews, but I have a lot of video reviews. I start
Right.
sending video reviews of people that went through Math the Market going, it was great, right? People
Well, let me
saying, yeah,
stop
that
you
Phil
there
Martin,
for a
I didn't even
second.
believe him till I got the keys. And then here's a picture of her jumping around in her new home,
Yeah.
just, and you know what? After 3 days, I'm really not doing much with them because if they don't
Right.
call me, I'm not going to call them.
Right.
Because
Well,
I'm
let me
doing this
stop you there for a
enough,
second.
I want people to call me who have looked at what I've sent them and like what I've sent them, appreciate what I've sent them. They know a little bit about me because I've got like a 3 to 6 minute video on what's different about me and my team and what would you get by working with me. Let's talk about it real quick,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
you know? And so in my in my technology, I can see who watched that video. I can see who
Right.
watched reviews. And I'll wait till they go through 4 days and all the things we've sent. And I'm only going to reach out to people who have looked at everything. And I know they watched a video.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say, hey, it's Phil Martin. Oh, hey, yeah. Yeah, I saw your stuff. They know me. I'm not an
Yeah.
unknown quantity anymore.
Mhm.
Right.
And I'm just checking in to see if I could possibly, it looks like you looked at a lot of stuff and you said you had to go now. I just want to make sure nothing slips between the cracks. We're pretty attuned when people say now, because I'm not sure what your situation is. A lot of people have to move, right? And if they don't find what they really need, it could lead to a lot of heartache, and we don't want that to happen. But is that really the situation? If not, I got other things I can do too. I know I don't want to bug you.
Yeah. Right.
I'm just asking.
Well,
Right?
yeah.
And so
And you're
let
doing
me
it by
finish up
video.
here. So if you say 3 to 6 or 6 to 12 or unsure, or if you say I have a house to sell, they're all different tracks of what we say and the frequency of what we say,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so we're trying to adjust because people who are 6 to 12 months out, I want you in my middle funnel as soon as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want people who are 3 to 6 months out to realize they should be in the bottom of the funnel because 3 months is 90 days. It takes 90 days when you're smoking it pretty hard, right?
Yeah.
It's tough. I
Yeah.
mean, I've done it in a couple of days, but you better know what you're doing, right?
That's
Um,
right.
and so it's tried to everybody has an avatar based on what we think and we're trying to communicate. And what we're doing now is if I do enough of that and everybody gets retargeted, there's pixels everywhere. If you filled out something, you're getting retargeted with branding. Um, there's some pretty cool stuff out there on branding, little babies jumping around, hey, you need a house for
Mm-hmm.
your new baby, that sort of thing. And so my goal is to where eventually we don't even have to call people. And we're doing stuff now in the marketing where people do call and they say, you know what? Um, we've watched hours and hours of your stuff and here's the house I want to buy. I'm pre-approved. We want to buy it by this time. Can you help us do that? We want to work with you. Yeah, yeah, we can do that. Let's have an appointment first to make sure. And we'll go through the same process again.
Right.
And literally, all the people I have in the funnel, into the bottom of the funnel who are actually looking for houses now, that's how they showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are
Yeah.
watching tens of thousands of hours of me talking on the internet,
Right.
leveraging that. And there's no cost to that. I don't even advertise on that one. So
Mm-mm.
that's what we'd like to get to, intent-based marketing where people call us. We still call out on these other funnels, but the funnel is, for example, if every email that goes out, so you register for the free search thing, boom, here it comes. But as soon as you register, another thing comes up, and it's me with another video going, hey, you requested our search for new homes. Here's what's going to happen. What you're going to see is one of the most highly rated search sites in North Texas. And by looking at this is plugged into the mother of all databases, MLS, because Realtor and Zillow, they get their information from the Realtor database that I have right here. I'm giving to you. So here's your benefit. When you search on this one, no, you're not going to have 1,000. I'm not selling your information. 1,000 agents aren't going to call you 24/7 looking to push something on you. Look in the privacy of your own home. When you're ready, give us a call. If you find something on there that's not in here, we can fix that too. Because actually, 40% of all new homes don't even make it to MLS. We have our whole private portfolio listing process. I've got some now that aren't on the internet. So yeah, click right down below. So they click
Yep.
below, and all of a sudden, here comes the search engine that they've already registered for. And then the next,
Mhm.
let's say, here comes any freebie that comes out. It's the cheese. Yeah. Hey, don't make a mistake. Click on here. And at the bottom of that was, hey, if you want to have a strategy consultation, click down here. And if they click down there, here comes another little landing page in the funnel. It's me talking. Hey, I see you want to do a strategy consultation. Here's what you can expect. And 30 seconds, 20 seconds, right? And I go, yeah, but
Mhm.
look at the calendar. I got to tell you, it might be a week or two out, but maybe you'll find something close in, but love to talk to you, do that. And if they click on that, it goes to a calendar. And when they're done with everything, it always takes them back to a landing page on a playlist on my YouTube channel. Always.
Mhm.
So
Now, is your
once they're in
YouTube
there,
channel open?
yeah,
Is it open to the public? Okay.
yep. Live north of Dallas, Texas. Not living, but live north of Dallas, Texas. Because we specialize in Plano, Frisco, Allen, Prosper, Salina, Melissa, Anna, that whole corridor between
Mhm.
Dallas North Tollway and 75 going north. That's where the appreciation, that's where the money is. All the way into Grayson County. That's all my marketing efforts are focused in that area. I used to be all over the place, but
Right.
another old adage, focusing is better. So really Collin
That's
County,
right.
but right up that corridor. And so all the funnels, it's every time I send something that's for free, there's a secondary page and there's pop-ups and different things. It's kind of cool. Um, Making an offer.
Mhm.
And the rule of thumb is on a funnel, never talk to a client without making an offer, even if it's a freebie. Here's a freebie. Here's a 10-second. Hey, when you're ready, right down below, click that. You can get a free Zoom call, no cost, no obligation. Man, we are going to nail it, give you perspectives and insights in your planning
Mhm.
phase well before you're ready to buy. But that's just the way we roll. So go ahead, free,
Yep.
no cost. And there's an offer, there's an offer, there's an offer, there's an offer, there's an offer. And so,
Mhm.
because if you're not making offers, waste of time.
That's right. Yeah. So kind of because you're so good at video, we talked about this earlier that you're so comfortable where a lot of people are not. So when you're sitting there talking about all these videos you're sending them, I could see an agent sitting there going, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that." But tell them why they should do it, the benefits of it, and then how to be so natural for you. Like you're so natural in front of the camera. So how does an agent get over that to get to the point to make the videos that give the education to their clients? That's a key thing that I get asked all the time.
And it's a key thing.
I mean, confidence has a lot to do with it.
Well, yeah, right. You're correct. So my YouTube channel has been up since last June, not even a year. Well short of a year, right?
Hmm.
I'm looking at the stats here, right? So here we go. Here's my stats since last June. You can see
Wow.
250,000 views, 18,000 hours. I do
Mm,
not advertise, so it's over 1,200 organic subscribers. What am I
great.
saying? I'm just talking about stuff I talk to them face to face, nothing different, nothing more, right?
Right.
And so here's and again, if agents want to learn, give me a call. I'll share all this with
Yeah.
you. I don't mind. But I'm not gonna, just like with clients, I talk about client accountability. If I hold them to what they said they wanted and 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 try to understand, right? And part of my
Hmm.
job is to protect them when they get outside that because they didn't know they're outside of the boundaries they wanted to stay in. And so the approach I take with agents too is um, first question I'll ask is, why do you think you're not confident? Talk to me.
Hmm.
What do you think would change that? And okay, would you try that for a week and get back to me and tell me what happened? And most of the time they'll say, well, I need to practice. Ooh, I need to write a script. Ooh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
They already know
Yeah.
what to do. They already
They
know
do.
what to do, right? Because this is not rocket science.
Mm-mm.
And they'll say, but if I get in front of a client and I'm out in the car, we're running around, they love me, I know what I'm doing. Uh-huh. So who has an issue here?
Yeah.
Either you believe you
They.
have value or you don't.
Mhm.
Either you're going to be focused on what's best for your client or you're not, or you're going to be focused on you. If you show up focused on you, you lose.
Mm. Yep.
If you show up to get on camera, oh, what are they going to think? I'm going to look at me. You know what? They're going to look at you in real life and they'll see a lot more wrinkles in real life than they do on camera.
That's right.
What's your problem? Hit the fuzzy button and get on with it, right?
Yeah.
Hit the Doris Day filter for everybody who's my age. You'll know what that means, right? And you can do that on Zoom, right?
Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
number one,
Yeah.
quit being self-conscious because that means you're being selfish. You're not thinking about the people you're trying to serve. Serve families with a grateful heart to protect their real estate assets and way of life. You got to have something you're telling yourself other than, oh my God, they're going to see my
Yeah.
whatever. I have very
Yeah.
short patience for this, right?
Mhm.
But I have a lot of empathy for it because I used to be, and truth be known, I still am a little self-conscious from time to time.
Mhm.
It's human nature, but you have to start
Sure.
reverse. You know what? The dog you feed is the dog that wins in your head. You're going to feed the dog that
Mhm.
says you're not worth it and you're stupid and you look bad. And that, yeah, you feed that one, and that's who wins. But you got to start. You can't be grateful and fearful at the same time.
Right.
Try it. You can't do
Right.
it. I promise.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a matter of um, practice a couple of times and then just do it. Because
Mhm.
here's the thing: if you're a little nervous, if you're new at this, um, it's going to be endearing.
Yeah.
And you know what? Some people are going to look at that and go, "Oh, I don't like them. They weren't like the other guy who seemed a little more confident and polished." And oh, good, you just dodged a bullet. Because if that's what they're
Yeah.
thinking, and that's what they're not for you. Not
Right.
everybody's for you. You're not looking for 18,000 hours. But I
Means
don't have a
something.
thousand people calling me. How come? Well, that's okay. The people
Yeah.
who know me and like me and trust me already, I don't have to spend an hour on Zoom or 2 hours with them anymore.
Right.
I know exactly what we're going, what we're going to do because they just told me. They've already
Yeah.
done everything I've asked them to do on Zoom, right? And so just do it. And here's the other way where you cannot lose, right? I said, uh, when I get on the phone, I'm never trying to sell something. Therefore, I can never fail because what I'm trying to do is only solve a problem if somebody has a problem. If somebody's not going to talk to me, they have a problem, but they weren't willing to share it with me. Next,
Yeah.
because when I feel
Exactly.
bad about that, I'm back to being fearful, being whatever in
Mhm.
my head. You got to get over it. And if you're hanging out with people at the bar at happy hour with the rest of the agents who are commiserating about all these things, well, you will be like the people you hang around. It's just,
Well,
I'm just saying.
mhm. That's the truth. That's the
Right?
truth,
And
you
so
know?
what's in your head really, 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 really matters. And so um, what you'll do is you make your first video and you'll say, oh, well, good. You be critical, but don't be
Mhm.
judgmental. There's a big difference,
Right.
right? Be critical, take some notes because you have to know you just spent 4 hours. And I tell you what, in the beginning, when you start making videos, it will take time. And it is, you're going to be sweating and, you're going to consternate, whatever. Good is good enough in most cases. Just put it out there. Because here's the
Mhm.
thing, you just spent 4 or 5 hours to do that, paid somebody to edit it. What's your return on investment? Well, nobody called. Do you know why?
Today. Yeah.
But even well, I don't think they're going to call. Well, do you know why? Was what you were saying irrelevant? No, but it wasn't very good. So let's look at it. What would you do different?
Yeah.
Okay, are you committed to maybe making that particular change for the next video? So what did you learn out of all this today then?
Mhm.
Oh, you mean you had a return on your time investment of time by learning
Right.
mindset? Because I was so glad after the first 60 days of doing all this YouTube stuff because I was worn out. And I told the guy that was editing my videos and Michael Reese both. I said, I'm so glad because I shot a day and a half of video and I had to redo it all. They're like, yeah, that you
Mm.
need to redo this because here's why. I'm like, dude, are you kidding me? I had to go on people's days off, so I'm not there with clients running around, in the model homes. I was ticked. But then it dawned on me. I said, this is kind of exciting. Do you know how many agents are going to go through this and stick to it?
Yeah. That's true.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to
Yeah,
be out there with just a few other people and this is going to work if I just, it's like farming. If you don't got 12 to 18
exactly.
months, don't start. If you don't got a
Hmm.
budget, don't start. If you're not committed,
Right.
don't start. Well, I'm committed. I'd like to get this much. Well, you got to break that down to activities. It has to be an activity, a task. It has to be measurable and it has to be a time limit or it's nothing.
Yep.
And you'll be wondering why I'm still not making money, being able to feed my family. And I feel like, whatever you want to
Hmm.
feel like. So every day, come to work, be successful because you did what you could control. Procrastination will
Hmm.
eat your brain out, right?
Right.
Do something. And it's gut wrenching sometimes to get through it because our minds are, and we all experience it. Me, Kim, Amy,
Yeah.
you've got that little,
Yeah. That little
you know,
person, that
you
negative
want,
that's sitting there.
yeah. Well, what that is our ego.
Hmm.
Real simple. Your ego wants to protect you from being hurt because of past
True.
experiences, which equal hurt. And your
Yes.
ego, I don't want to look bad. What will they say? I call it the committee of they. What will they say? What will they think? Oh, if nobody's calling you, you'll never
Hmm.
know. Keep filming.
Yeah.
Then the people who like you, because you did it enough to where actually it was making sense now, blah, 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 made sense.
Hmm.
I didn't get anybody.
Amy
The
can
only
tell you
people that
that.
called me in the first 4 months of these videos, true story, were people that said, oh, we love you. You're an expert. We want you to give us 2% of your commission and get out there and help us buy that house. So
Oh,
you call me because you think I'm an expert. Oh, yes, we did. But you want me to give you all my money. Yes, just think about it. Please, just think. No, 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 no. Click. But then, enough said. But then I would give them the advice of, call 3 Uber drivers. 2 will have a license, and one of them will give you all their money. It's the way it works. Um, but
mm.
after a while, the people that did call me, this is what they say. Hey, are you really the YouTube guy? Yeah, I am.
Well, look
Okay,
at there.
I'm about to send you an email. This is the house I want to buy. This is my credit score. We'll be there on Tuesday. Can you help us buy this house? Whatever it takes. I'm in.
Perfect.
My folks in Chicago, he called me up. Is this really Phil Martin? Yeah, yeah, it is. And a guy, and after they came down, they bought into a brand new Highland home. I love me some Highland homes, right? They went back to
Yep.
Chicago, and he called me up. He said, I gotta go and do the deed now, Phil. I said, what's that? He goes, so there's 3 other guys that had YouTube channels, and they are all calling me, wanting me to do business, and I just really liked you. It's a true story. He goes, and his wife said, yeah, because
There
you
you
said the
go.
word schlep. I said the word what? Yeah, schlepping laundry. I said, I do. I say that all the time. Why do you want a 2-story house? You got to schlep laundry. No schlepping laundry. Or
Yeah.
the master bedroom goes right into the utility room. No schlepping laundry through the kitchen. And she goes, it made me laugh. We wanted to work with you. And I'm like, cool. Now here's the thing, right? I could spend 6 hours with everybody convincing them I'm the greatest thing since sliced bread. Can you do business with me? Or how hard
Hmm.
would it be for me to spend 18,000 hours talking to people?
So, and it's organic. You did not pay to
It's
get those
organic.
people there.
Yep.
Right. I
Hmm.
had a guy call me up and say, you know what? We're watching you in bed. I was like, wait till I tell Debbie we're in trouble. I'm like, they've been in the house or something. He goes, no, 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 no.
Oh
We lay in
gosh.
bed at night. Actually, on the stats on YouTube, you can see about 67% of the people watch the YouTube on their TV. They don't watch it on
Oh
the phone,
yeah,
on
yeah,
PC.
yeah.
They say we lay in bed at night and we watch these videos, and the kids hop in bed with us because they want to see where we're going to be living. I'm
Oh,
Mm,
like, dude.
that's cool.
And then, the kids show up. Oh, you're Mr. Smarty Pants. You're Mr. Know-it-all. Shut up. No, I'm the realtor. They go, no, we know you. Okay.
Oh, how funny.
But
That's
it's
great. Well,
it's intentional marketing and
hmm,
and think about it. How long, it's a redundant question. How long could you possibly spend 18,000 hours? How many years would it take you to talk directly, personally,
oh
one on one,
Lord.
and spend 18,000 hours doing it?
Hmm.
You can't, right?
No,
Um,
no.
and so it's the same thing with the funnel. Every time they open it and you have 30 seconds of talking to them, here's another offer. when it's right, if it's helpful, if it'd be
Mhm.
appropriate. I talked to a lady yesterday. I said, you know what? She goes, we're not ready. We're not going to be ready to get this house sold till probably summertime. I said, okay, yeah, that's not a problem. Um, do you guys even have conversations about it now, wondering about, you know, price and how long and, how logistically will you move from here to Mansfield where you want to go? She goes, well, of course. I said, okay. So you are in the planning phase, it would seem. Would that be a fair statement? Yeah, 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 we are. Okay. Well, if you think it would be appropriate or at this time, because you're kind of far out, but if it would be helpful, here's what we could do. We've got a consultation session that we do for people who are like you, months out, but there's still things that are, you got to start answering these questions, right? And so
Mhm.
we offer ourselves as a resource. If you, like I said, if you think it'd be appropriate, just let me know. I'll send you a link and you can schedule your own Zoom call with me when the time is right. Would that be helpful? Well,
Mhm.
yes, it would. I'm going to bookmark that. Oh,
See?
that's middle of the funnel talk,
Mhm.
right? And I'm sending out a newsletter now every 2 weeks. Soon it's going to be every week. And it's got a lot of other stuff. I'm not being the author of most of it. I'm just aggregating stuff from everywhere else.
Right.
Um, and again, I'm just trying to, when they see me, they don't go, oh, that guy.
Yeah.
They go, oh, yeah, check it out. Okay, next. Yeah, I get it. But I'm top of mind
Well,
because
what
when they're
I
in the middle of that funnel, that's if there's, you might, you're cruising, if you get 120 leads a month and 1%, maybe one or two might work
Mhm.
out if you're pounding it real hard. But if you can get 20 or 30 of those to go to your middle funnel, do that
Yeah.
for six
Wow.
months, and then 20%, 10% of those start popping out 5 to 10 every month because
Mhm.
you've not pushed. You've not tried to solve a problem. You've tried to be helpful, and you've
Right.
always done it in a mode of you're gonna I'm gonna attract you. I'm not gonna
Mm.
pursue you because I
Right.
really don't need the business. And every day I'm gonna be successful even if I don't sell anything because I'm not in the business of selling stuff.
Mm.
I am, but
Thank
I keep it
you.
to myself. I keep it to
Right.
myself, right?
Yeah.
Shh, that's our secret. I'm in the business of serving families with a grateful heart to protect and preserve their real estate assets and way of life.
Yeah.
But I have to build
And that's the
trust
way it should be.
and be
Yeah.
helpful.
Mhm.
So that in a
I
nutshell
love
is
it.
how we're running the game here. And doing a lot of stuff with investors now. Um, one of my investors is moving to Texas from California. He's one of the ones that he's just looking right now. But um, back to we'll send out surveys. We do a lot of surveys,
Mhm.
and they're real simple. You're going to buy a house or sell a house in the next 12 months? Yes, no. Do you think housing prices will go up or down? Up or down? Uh, do you think um, this year will make a difference because it's election year? Yes or no? And lastly, have you ever thought about investing? And it's just
There you
radio
go.
buttons. And so
Mhm.
when that comes back in my CRM, I just punch a button. Everybody who said, yes, I'm thinking of buying, they go into a certain middle of the funnel communication. Hey, here's some high level, like for example, Altos. This is a good one, right? For people who are listening, here's a little bonus, right? Um,
Yeah.
for $90 a month or thereabouts, go ahead and plug into Altos, right?
Great program.
Yep, yep. So what I do is I'll come out here and I'll figure out what zip code they're in. And I do 2 counties and all the zip codes in the counties. So I can do this. So I'll say, oh, you're thinking about 75002, you want to sell your house, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Um, I don't know if it'd be helpful, but just so you don't have to have conversations with guys like me and you can keep your finger on the pulse. We spend a lot of money each month on resources here. This is something that very few people have access to because it refreshes with current data every 7 days. If you're looking at like Realtor or Zillow, that's like month and a half, 2 months old, coming out of Texas A&M Research Center.
Mhm.
You ever heard of them? And they'll go, no. I say, oh yeah, that's where it all comes from, right?
Yeah.
But every 7 days, we're re-upping this stuff, right? And so what you can do, I'll send you this link, and when you click on it, you're going to see for your zip code, It's going to be interactive, and you can subscribe if you want to keep getting this every 7 days. And
Yeah.
they'll go, oh, oh yeah, just point, and it'll show you what the median list price is. You can see that it is a seller's market. You can come down here and you can look at this many different things, right? Median price list, you can do it in terms of high, upper, mid, and lower price points. And you can
Mhm.
see people say, oh, why do you keep saying, look, in 2022, look at this. In 2022, here we are, January, right about here. Look at the price hike. The first 6 months, we went from just on 936, right? The upper, up to a high of 952. It went from 1.6 to 2 million, $400,000 increase in
Mm.
6 months. And then
Isn't
look at
that
the straw.
crazy? Yeah.
So by the time we got over here, though, a year later, where the prices started going back up again, it was still higher than it was where we started over here. So it went down, but
Mhm.
it ended up here, which this dot is higher than that dot. And that people only remember this, the market's crashing. Well,
Right.
if you sold in here, yeah, that was painful. But if you're just holding the house, guess what? Year on year appreciation, year on year
Mhm.
appreciation. So you can, get rid of that. And if you want to understand, here's your 7-day average, which is new listings coming on the market versus a 90-day running average. And if you do both together, then you're going to
Mhm.
see, this dash line always leads the solid line. So you'll know where the market's trending. So you can go up here and you can look at this. You can look at average days on market. You can zoom in. You can do all kinds of things on this thing. But I just give this to people. Here you go. This is for your zip code.
Yeah.
If you want
This is a
something,
great program that's been around forever, and it gives such great
yeah,
information that a lot of agents don't know about. So it's called Altos Research, and
mhm.
it's worth looking into
Keeping current
100%.
matters. Keeping current matters. That's another good one.
Okay.
Focus first. I use that. That blows people away. Uh,
Mm,
it it's crazy what that one does. And then I throw that in there with my math to market spreadsheet, which you called the spreadsheet, and
yeah.
along with I'm making one now that just shows if you bought a house today um, at a certain interest rate, and it runs over. You plug in the number of years you owned it. It'll show you what your balance is, i.e., pennies into your bank account, and you 1.5% appreciation, and you just plug in what you think your assumptions might be, versus I'm going to wait for a lower interest rate. A year later, if you
Right.
get, it's going to show you that you just and then if interest rates don't go down, I know people who've been waiting for a long time, years, for the market to get
Mm-hmm.
better, and
Oh,
they still don't,
yeah.
and they're still paying a landlord. And
Mm-hmm.
you see real quick, you'll have a different perspective, and you may continue to pay the landlord. You may, but at least you now know what you are really foregoing,
Right.
because true housing depreciation happens so seldom, going back all the way to the 30s in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It's not funny, mainly because of that first graph we showed.
Right.
I'm just
Well,
saying.
and I think that if everybody is listening, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm taking notes, and the nuggets that are coming is great. But if somebody wanted to reach out to you one on one, how would you want them to do that, Phil?
LM at martinht.com. Phil
Okay,
M
we'll put that in the show notes too.
at martinht.com. Or you can text me at 972-768-5664.
Okay.
Um, and if you have a specific question, or if we need to spend some time together, we might end up doing it with a group of people, and I'll send you
Yeah.
the like you can go to GoDaddy, and for $12 or less, you can buy a URL,
Mm-hmm.
and then forward it to your Zoom page that you pay $20 a month for
Right.
you have Zoom. So mine is zoomwithphil.com.
There you go. I think
It's so
mine's
easy.
talking with Kim. It's so
Yeah,
easy.
talking
There it
with
is.
Kim, right? And so how easy would it be to tell everybody you're talking to, oh, you want to book a call? Yeah, do
Mm-hmm.
go here to my Calendly page or whatever you're using,
Yeah.
Zoom with Phil, or
Yeah.
on the fly. Yeah, go to Zoom with Phil. Oh, okay.
Well, you've always been one that keeps it, you're always ahead of when I talk to you or I talk to Amy or you and I talk, I'm always getting off the phone going, he's doing so much more than the average agent, and that's why you're so successful. But here's something that I'm going to throw in there, that when you're doing videos and you're creating these funnels and these spreadsheets and doing all of these things, it does require more than just sitting down and looking at a camera. You've got to prepare to do everything to make it all come together. And I think that sometimes agents get frustrated with that, knowing that I don't have a plan. I know what I want to do, I just don't have a plan. And so by listening to this podcast, I think that they can now listen to it and create that plan of what do I need to do first to get this video done? Or what do I need to do for this funnel? And that I think helps agents realize that it's not just going to happen overnight. You've got to put some effort into it, and the more effort you put in, the more it comes back to you, right?
Right, right. And everything is really basic. Everybody goes, what do
Yeah.
what kind of camera you got? How do you film those? I'll say every YouTube video you see, I did with my iPhone
Right here in my
and a
laptop.
gimbal, $25 gimbal off of Amazon. That's
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
and a little microphone, right? But I use the camera that I carry in my pocket that has the cracked glass. That's what I film my videos with.
Yeah.
Well, and
You don't, it
iPhones
doesn't
now
have to.
especially have really good, great cameras, and I think the
Yeah.
Samsung, but
Yeah.
I mean, you don't need
You,
fancy stuff. Use what you
Yeah.
have.
you go to
Yeah.
iPhone 14 and it's stunning what this thing does picture
Yeah.
wise. Quite stunning.
Well, and I'll share with you, when I started doing this podcast, I went out and I bought this camera. I watched all the YouTube videos of all the people that recommended the equipment, and I went out and bought it. And I mean, I couldn't believe the amount of money. And then my son Stephen came over, who does social media and videos. He's a videographer and all that. I looked at everything and he goes, "Why? Why did you spend all this money?" And I went, "Well, because so and so said to, and this is going to make it so great." And he goes, "Mom, your phone, get your phone and get you a microphone, if you need one, and get you a couple of lights." And he goes, "Now return the other stuff." And then I dropped the camera and broke it. So I was out the money.
Right. I mean,
So there
I
you
can
go.
also say that people, when agents do ask, um, how can I increase buyers or listings? It's really super basic. I have a very simple tracking form for people to use for themselves, not for me, for themselves.
Mhm.
And
Right.
because you're going to make so many calls, out of so many calls, you're going to get so many people pick up the phone. Out of so many people who pick up the phone,
Mhm.
you're going to have X percentage of what I call relevant conversations. Actually, you're going to have a 5 or 6 minute conversation about, yes, I am interested. Yes, I'm thinking. That's a legitimate conversation, right? So
Mhm.
you might make 200 calls. Out of that, you talk to maybe 10 people. Out of that, one person is a legitimate phone call, right? Out of that legitimate phone
Mhm.
call, how many
Right.
legitimate phone calls schedule an appointment? How many people out of the scheduling an appointment cancel? How many people that actually attend actually become your client? And
Mhm.
when you start, it's very easy to, and I've got baseline stats and conversion rates that we use. And it's really, I got this down to a science early in my career. I knew if I made X number of calls, this would fall out like clockwork. And I
Mm.
knew if I was spending so much hours with buyers, so much with sellers, this is my average um, list price or sales price. I knew how much I was making an hour.
Yeah.
And I knew that it was better than Walmart. I
Yep.
mean, some agents, I spent, 4 months helping them to buy a house. You should go work at Walmart. You'll make more per hour. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Now, if you're willing
Yeah.
to improve that, what's really amazing is just half a percentage on every one of those metrics will result in 2 more deals, 3 more deals.
Mhm. Mhm.
Slight tweaks because the funnel, it's so deep, right? And you're tracking that. Well, on average, you're going to have 40% cancel when you begin. Well, if that's where the issue is, it's really simple to see if you're tracking it each week. Well, this month I had, we're down to 40% on average or not even showing up.
Mhm.
Why do you think that is? What are you doing? What could you possibly do that would be better? Why do you think that would work? Are you willing Would you commit to doing that change for a week and or 2 weeks and see if it works? It's just that simple.
Right.
That's why
It's just
accountability
knowing
should be. That's how accountability should be working, right? And they go,
that's right.
yeah, I will. And when they come back, it's like, did you do what you said you'd do? How'd it
Mm-hmm.
work out?
And that,
What got in the
yeah,
way?
what it,
It's real simple,
yep.
right? Um,
Y- But with all that said, then to wrap this up, if you could give any agent out there one piece of advice, just one. I know you got a lot, but I want one because you've dropped a lot so far. But if you could give an agent one piece of advice to move forward in either doing videos, creating funnels, getting out there and picking up the phone or in front of people, what would you say? What would that be?
well, you go somewhere where they can show you what the basics are and then actually execute.
Mm-hmm.
Say, look, I'm
Okay.
going to do one video and I'm going to have it edited and I'm going to put it on a channel. So first of all, you have to make a channel. How do you do that?
Yes.
With the banner, how do you do that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Specifically for videos, right? So you're doing all this stuff, right? But I'm going to make one video this month. What would the script look like? What would I do? So all you got to do, these guys are competitors of mine in this market. But I read this book and my head exploded. So
Oh,
first off, the thing you can do is if you're not feeding your mind, you're not going to go anywhere than where you're at.
right. True, true.
So feed your mind.
What
I've
book?
got Reading Power versus Force. What a powerful, powerful book. But this right here, if you want to know how to
Passive
do,
prospecting.
yep, these two guys just blew it up. They're in Dallas. If you want to know how to start to finish, put up a channel and make some videos,
Mm-hmm.
you will
Get the
need
book.
no other resource than this. And then go on YouTube. If you want to know, see, so what does that look like? Go on YouTube and subscribe to your top 3 that you like. You think I could do that and watch what they do. But read this
Mm-hmm.
book, right? This will take
Okay.
you a week or two. Make notes. Pick one thing. This week, I'm going to get my channel up. Next week, I'm going to practice my script. You have to actually practice it, right? And in the meantime, I've got my gimbal and my iPhone ready. And then on the 3rd week, I'm going to make an appointment with the sales rep out at that place over there to go in there when their assistant's there on a Wednesday or Thursday when nobody else is there. Can I get in at 10? And then nobody's around and you finish your video. You either edit yourself or you give it to somebody else and you post it. Okay, I did one in 1 month. Ooh. Well, watch your
Mm-hmm.
video, make notes. Okay, maybe I could do a second video. If you did one, you can do 2. Are you committed? It's not a goal, right? To make a video, you have to be committed to do what and measure it by when next month, this date, backtrack. And it's real simple. It's not going to, except for the day of filming, it's not going to take you more than probably 30 minutes a day. But then you do maybe 2 videos the next month and you work
Right.
your way up until where you're doing 6 videos in a month. Say, oh my gosh, that's going to take forever.
Nah.
What are you doing? What are you doing in the meantime? But what you've always done, getting the same result.
Mm-hmm. Right. Step out
Okay,
of
a
your
year and a
comfort
half later,
zone.
you're still going to be where you're at, or you're going to have people starting to call you going, hey, are you the YouTube person?
Yeah. That's great. So what is your YouTube channel again?
It is. Here we go. Let me put this up here for you. Channel analytics. It is called Live North of Dallas, Texas.
And for those that are listening to the podcast, you want to go over to my YouTube channel to watch this video because of all the things that Phil is showing you. So we will make sure to link his YouTube channel in our show notes. So make sure you look there too.
So just,
Okay.
yep.
Well, Phil, this has been so good, such a good podcast. I really appreciate you doing this for us. And I know that people are going to probably be reaching out to you for some guidance and some ideas because you have always come across to me to be, you know what you want to do to get it. You just need somebody to kind of help you get there in some areas. But basically, at the end of the day, you're the numbers guy. And I think that there's not a lot of agents that look at numbers like you do. And I think that's why you are so, to me, you're organized, and I think that's probably the most important thing in the business is to have organization as well as know what your plan is. And you always seem to know that. When we come to a conversation, you know what you're wanting to do, and you just tell us what you want, and then we come back and Amy does it for you. So there you go. So, yay, Amy.
No, thank you
All
so
right.
much
Well,
for inviting me to do this today. I always like talking about what I do. So, and you helped
Good.
me do it. So thank you for that as well. And
Well,
hopefully this will be a great podcast for you and your audience.
yeah. And Amy, do you have any questions or anything you want to bring to the table before we end?
Well, I just want to say, I adore you, Phil, and I just love working with you.
Oh,
And you are the client that is always 2 steps ahead. And what you bring to the table, I mean, you blow my mind all the time. I mean, you always come to me with stuff, and I'm like, I'm just like, Bill, you're out there. I just love it. And I just love what you do. And I love your heart. I
Yeah.
will say this about you, and I've seen this over the last few years. You have such a heart for people. And I know you talk about how it's just nurturing and all that, but you do. And you train I've seen you train agents and really expect nothing in return. I mean, you just do it because that is your heart. You train and you teach and you educate. And so we saw that today in this podcast. And I
100%.
mean, I didn't even take notes because I'm just going to go back and listen to it again because there was so much good stuff in here. So I was like,
Yep.
that's
thank you
good.
for those
So
kind
much.
words. That means a lot. I appreciate that. I have
Yep.
a ton of respect for you as well. So
Aw.
I appreciate it.
That's great. All right. Well, we're going to wrap this up. And then, like I said, we'll have everything in the show notes. So if you're looking for a link, just check there. We'll put how to get in touch with Phil, his phone number, his email, his website, his YouTube channel, and everything. And, reach out to him. He's happy to have a conversation with you. And then if there's anything we can do to help you on the back end, we're always here to help you as well. And so again, thank you so much, Phil. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to have you back because I've got some other topics. As we were talking, I was like, oh, I thought we're going to have him do this now. So if you're game, we will have you back. And
Sounds good.
I really
Let me know.
appreciate it. And y'all have a great day.
You too.
Okay.
Thanks again.
Well, we're done. So unless you have something else you want to talk about while we're all three here, we can
We're
end
good.
it and move on with our day or. Okay. Well,
We're
thanks
good.
so much, Phil. Thank you so much, Amy, and we'll talk to y'all later. Thank you so much for tuning in. And if you know someone, and I bet you do, who would appreciate this podcast, please share it with them. As a reminder, this podcast can be delivered directly to your favorite device by using the subscribe links you can find in the show notes below or over at unstoppablerealestateagents.com. Remember, it takes as much energy to wish as it does to plan. Have a great day.